Welcome back, everyone, into the studio. Today I have my most special guest I've ever had with me in the studio, my precious wife, Jane.
I'm gonna offend Doug.
She said I'm going to offend Doug. Sorry, Doug, if you're watching, you'll get over it. But today we are here to share a little bit more about the launch of CartoonCards.com, Cartoon Cards, the magazine, Cartoon Cards, the brand, and more. So we're going to do some Q&A. And for those who have never met my precious wife, we started dating 38 years ago, and we've been married for 34 years now. So excited to have you here in the studio, baby.
I wish I had had more notice, but I'll go along with
So she had no notice. We were like, hey, come in the studio, do some Q&A with us. So we are taking some questions, and we're going to share a little bit more about the launch of this brand and how it all got started. So let's fire away with that first question.
What is Cartoon Cards?
Cartoon Cards is the online community for collectors of iconic brands like Peanuts, Disney, Looney Tunes, Marvel, DC, Sesame Street, The Muppets, great brands like that have been around for decades and decades. And as much as I love trading cards and as much as I love these types of characters, I thought launching a site like CartoonCards.com would be the perfect synergy to put those together.
And you can meet more people who love them as much as you do on the community.
This is very true. I can meet all of you out there who love these characters. And so that's what our forum's going to be for, the message boards where you can share with me and share with other collectors like me across the globe.
That's a great segue into where did this all begin?
Well, how many months ago was it?
Probably about five
or
6.
Yeah. So several months ago, Jane and I were talking, and I told her how I wish a website existed where I could learn more about this hobby of mine, because at the time I was mainly focused on collecting cards of Charlie Brown, Snoopy, all the Peanuts characters, and trying to learn about every set that existed for them, because there weren't that many I could find. And I came across, it was last December, I learned about the 1971 figurine di Lina set from Italy, and I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, there's this huge set of Peanuts cards that came out 1971, 3 years after I was born. I was like, I've got to build this set. And so I started chasing the cards, and then I told you I wanted to launch SnoopyCards.com, right? That was the initial idea. So it was going to be SnoopyCards.com. Then I was like, I can't do that. I don't own the rights to the name Snoopy. It's so instead we broadened it to Cartoon Cards. But, as a kid, well, I guess as an adult, you could share the Flintstone story. So, because I can't just say as a kid I loved watching cartoons. If you want to share with them the Stone-a-thon.
Oh, definitely. As an adult, you loved watching cartoons years and years ago, before we even had kids. We found Cartoon Network had the Flintstone episodes from start to finish, every one, and then they were doing a Stones-a-thon. And so he would set our VCR, that's how old we are, and he would set it to record each one. And so he would jump when he heard whether we were asleep or awake. When he heard the videotape run out, and he would go run and put a new one in so that he could have every Flintstone episode recorded, and he could watch them whenever he wanted to. Unfortunately, we do not have a VCR anymore to be able to watch those videos. So yeah, he's out of luck now.
But there's plenty of places I can watch them now, thankfully. So it's called streaming, and we find them all the time.
We just have to pay for it now.
We do have to pay now. So that is one challenge. But yeah, as a kid, I'll go all the way back to as a kid, I loved watching Saturday morning cartoons. And I could pick any network, and there were Saturday morning cartoons, and I could hop around and watch Scooby-Doo's Laugh Olympics and watch all the Hanna-Barbera characters competing with each other in the Olympics. And I hated the what were they called? The dastardly, I forget, the bad guys. There was always this one team that nobody liked, and they were always the bad guys, and you hated when they won. But there was the Yogi Yahooies, I think, was one of the teams. And So that was so fun, but there was Hong Kong Phooey. There was that was actually only on for 1 year. It seems like it was on for all my childhood. I liked it so much, but love rewatching that one. But love the Flintstones. That was an every afternoon thing when I could watch the Flintstones. But Charlie Brown, Snoopy, reading all of those books as a kid. I improved as a reader because I had probably hundreds of Charlie Brown books, Snoopy books, and still have hundreds. And now they're bigger and more expensive. And with
our house is decorated with Snoopy.
Yeah, and
everywhere.
So everywhere, literally. So that's as a kid, I just loved cartoons, and I've always collected them a little bit, and I would buy a little here and there. And then literally just over the last few months, I felt there was a need for this in our industry. And so I was like, I'm just going to go all in. And thank God we have Jared here who was able to build this incredible website far beyond anything I ever dreamed we would be able to put together in terms of content. And we're continuing to build it, but it's just phenomenal. And if you love any of these brands, Disney, Hanna-Barbera, Looney Tunes, Marvel, DC, Peanuts, The Muppets, and Sesame Street, others like Archie and Popeye and Popeye. How about Popeye and SpongeBob and all those other great brands? If you love any of those, go to the site and check it out. There is so much content for you. You can literally spend hours and hours just viewing and learning about these old sets, because like I said, I wanted to build a site. My vision was, I'm going to build a site that I would use, build a site that I would love. And I asked you the other day, or maybe it was just you telling me you thought I'd have more fun with this than anything I've ever done in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. He's a big kid, so excited, wanting to show me pages, just loving it.
So, and midway through the process, we had the idea to put out a magazine as well, because, growing up, it was me carrying around my little Beckett magazine and as a teenager and studying the Beckett. And that's how I met my first partner, Jeff Porter, who I launched the business with back in 1991. He walked into my U.S. history class carrying a Beckett. I was like, I need to talk to that guy. And that's how we met, literally. So, but I love guides. And so I said, we're going to put out our own guide to provide education. And this thing is loaded with information. We've got, you can look at page after page about these characters, and you can read massive set lists that we have on here to let you know what set exists. And some of these are, from all around the globe, not just US sets. So it is, loaded with information, years and years of me collecting this stuff, putting it all into a guide to help collectors. What's our next question? What are we going to do?
Well, this has really been a passion project for you and for the team. And so I'm curious how you see cartoon cards changing the industry.
What do you think?
I don't know, other than giving a voice to people who love these characters as much as you do, and reliving childhood and being able to just see that there are products out there other than sports cards that they can enjoy and rekindle memories. Because I grew up watching the same Saturday morning cartoons and love thinking back on that. Just brings, nice feelings.
Yeah. So what I believe is that, Fanatics has already announced, Fanatics is the leader in the industry in terms of volume, in terms of size, in terms of marketing, in terms of so many things. And they've already announced that they're going to be making multiple non-sport products this year. I'm not talking about gaming products, I'm talking about non-sports. They're doing multiple Disney sets. They've announced a SpongeBob set that's coming. So, and even I look at other manufacturers. Panini just made a Peanut set last year. Kakao in China just did a set that included tons of Hanna-Barbera characters. So Upper Deck just did Fleer Retro Looney Tunes last year. Upper Deck just did Fleer Scooby-Doo this year. So it's not like these characters are not still in the spotlight. Leading manufacturers, understand the importance of these brands. And it's not just, oh yeah, Disney had cards back in the day. No, they have cards still coming this calendar year, several sets. And so I believe when Fanatics bring so much more exposure, especially to the Disney product line, that others might go, you know, I'm interested in the old cards of these characters. You know, just like new baseball cards often will excite collectors who want to learn more about historic sets and older ball players and so forth. And often you'll see different generations they can collect together. Maybe the dad's buying a Mickey Mouse Barrett card from 1955 or 1957, and his son's opening packs of new Topps Chrome Disney. Same thing we see with sports cards. So I just believe there's such a synergy of trading cards and cartoon characters. So that's our focus. We could have built a site that was just non-sports cards, but we wanted to narrow the focus so that we could be as thorough with every single brand that we did focus on, so that we could go the extra mile, provide not just checklists, but images and information on every one of the brands that we focus on. We want to have the best site that's focused on all of those brands.
Well, and everyone knows that you are an expert in the sports card area. I mean, you've been doing this for dozens of years, and
Don't remind me.
But not many people know that you are a cartoon card expert and that this is something that you really love. So I know you guys have stories about you loving cartoon cards. Let's hear some of your best stories of how long you've been collecting this information just because you love it.
I think I might be the cause of your rekindling your
Could be.
Cartoon
Might very well be.
endeavors. In college, I convinced him it wasn't easy to go with me to see The Little Mermaid, and he had not been to any of the big Disney movies before.
No, I was too tough. I was too macho for that.
He had to be too tough. But I convinced him that we were going, and we had to drive a good ways to get to a movie theater that had it.
It was over an hour just to get
and
there.
so he didn't think he would know anybody, so he agreed to go with me. But he absolutely loved the movie, and then he was the first one to want to go to every new Disney movie that came out.
Right.
So I didn't have to beg or barter to get him to go anymore. So it might be all my fault.
It might be. That's probably why you were so understanding every time I said, hey, I spent another $1,000 on some cartoon inventory. And because we literally have built, we have a ridiculous amount of what I'll call reference sets now, because there were so many sets I bought, because I was like, we can't find any images for this set anywhere on the web. So I'll just buy a set. And that was my excuse. I'm like,
yeah, and I fell for it. Really.
Yeah. I was like, hey, we got another reference set in. Isn't this great? And it was literally at a show 3 weeks ago, and I said, I bought 10 more reference sets on Marvel and DC cards because I didn't have them and we couldn't find them. And now we're going to have them on the website. Isn't that great? And so, but yeah, you have to take the blame. You did.
All throughout this, I've wondered if you were actually going to ever sell any of those things that you had to put on the website, that we could just be hoarding them.
We could be. And as I have shared, we haven't really got very far on the shop portion yet because we've been so focused on building the infrastructure. But the shop is coming. So if you go to the site and there's only 20 products on there, understand the shop is going to be coming with far, far more products. We really will get that stuff listed. Now, we do already have several thousand cards listed on our eBay store, also under the ID Cartoon Cards, with a Z, of course. And so Cartoon Cards, I think we have about 4,500 singles on there already. But we have packs, boxes, sets on the website with many graded singles to come. Right now, a lot of this graded inventory is all on display at the National. So as you watch this video, come on out and see us at the National this week. Come check out the Cartoon Cards booth, which is part of our 600 square feet. And you'll see a lot of these incredible cards. You'll see probably some of the stuff featured in the magazine. And if you wonder some cards that are in my PC, get the magazine, because tons of the cards are in there. So I literally My collection's a disaster right now because every day I'm like, oh, we need another image for Hanna-Barbera. We need another image for Disney. And so my man cave is a mess right now because so many of my sets are totally out of order, but that's okay because we got this. This is literally fresh off the press. It literally came in right before we were leaving for the National. So can't wait to show these to all of you at the big show.
Are the t-shirts for sale? I know this is just the beginning of Cartoon Cards, but how do people get in on this?
Come by the booth. Promise me you'll wear this for a full day at the National, and they are complimentary. How's that?
Wow, that's a pretty good deal.
While they last. So come by the
You
booth.
made me buy mine.
That's right. Yeah, she actually had to pay for hers, but because she's not coming to the National, so of course she had to pay for hers. So, but come by and I'll give you one. I just want to see you wearing it around the show the next day, so we can help others in the industry learn more about these incredible brands.
Great. Well, this is really exciting. Like we said, this is just the beginning, and I know that everyone's going to be really thankful that you and your team and your wife have shared this dream with the public now and have shared all this information that just doesn't exist yet, and now it does.
That's right. It finally does. And like we like to say, you know, we're here to provide information, education, inspiration, you name it. We want you to have fun. We want you to go to the site and have a great time. And eventually you'll have lots of products you can shop for on there. But our first focus was to get you all the information, all the images we could put together. And so, again, so thankful to Jared Hamby, Austin McElroy, Taylor Pruitt, Perry Rabbit for working so hard on the site, the magazine, and more. And so proud of our team and all the work they've put in. And so thankful to Jane for putting up with me because I've been a little obsessed over this for the last few months, and proofreading with me, and so many conversations about what this dream was like and why it mattered so much to me. So thank you, baby. Thanks so much for watching.